Hello and welcome to week 43 of the FUT Weekly Podcast. Your regular host, Ben, is away this week, so I will be stepping in, and this is my chance to do things entirely different in the way I've always wanted to do them, maybe. But this is your content episode, and I am happy to be joined by a very Midwestern panel here this week. Nate, the FUT accountant, how's it going?
Morning, Japes. It is going good. The weather outside is nice. It is summertime. And there's still stuff to do on FIFA, but it's also that time of the year where we're like, okay, it's in transition mode. So we're getting the really good content or hoping for it. And then also thinking about the new game just slightly off in the not so distant future.
Yeah, I was introducing you. I kept finding myself thinking as you were going through that, what's your coin balance right now? Is that too personal?
It's too high for what it should be. It's about 16 million. But
oh my.
The 85 times 10 will absolutely hurt that. So,
well, that is awesome. On the gameplay side, though, we're also joined by top NA FIFA player 𝗬𝗵𝗽. How's it going?
It's going well. It'll be an interesting pod. A little US takeover. It's like on Reddit when people say mods are asleep, so they start posting other things. I'm sure we'll keep it FIFA related, but maybe something a little different today.
Yeah, NA all day. I'm ready for it. I think the real question here is going to be whether we pick our pound for pound powerhouses just from MLS. That's not going to be the right choice, but pound for pound, as you guys know, best value player from, call it maybe like the past week of FIFA, still available on the market, SBC or objective. Usually we start from who's newest on the pod to just coming in. So you guys are like a toss up for me. So I'm going to do a flip of a coin here. Let's let you go first.
All right. So this one is not a budget option, but for what he is, I think he's great value. I'm going to go with that SBC 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗪.
Oh.
Right now, FUTBin is saying that he's coming in just over 600K to complete the SBC, which is a lot. But, at this stage of the cycle, it's not that bad. And when you compare to some of the players on the market, like that new Franck Ribéry, 3.4 million, I'm sure that's a great card. But, I don't even know the math. It's too early on a Monday morning to do the math, but like 5, 6, 7 times the price. I don't even know. 8 times the price. So it's for the cost, and considering I'm sure a lot of people have fodder, there's all those fodder packs from the ShapeShifters objectives available. So I don't think it's that bad of a price, especially considering how good he is.
Where are you playing him?
So I have played him as a left striker in a 3-5-2 and a left forward in a 3-4-2-1. Playing him up top, actually next to team of the season, 𝘃𝗲𝗏. Nice little strong link there. He also gets a weak link to that new objective, Dan James, right wing back. So he's a great, wide mid and a 3 at the back as well. So, some interesting links there too.
Do you like him as left forward or as left striker better? Because I'm asking here because I have used him as a left striker in a 3-4-1-2, less than impressed, and shifted him back to attacking mid, and he is far superior in that spot for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that as a striker, you kind of get those 1-2 going back and forth with the other striker, which is nice. But with the 3-4-2-1, I feel like it's so good because against a 4 at the back, he's kind of between the fullback and center back. And against a 3 at the back, he's like one-on-one with the center back. So either way, it feels like he kind of has extra space to run into. But obviously then with the 3-4-2-1, you have less midfield balance, etc. But, it's a trade-off. So I switch between the two.
Interesting. I think that's a fair shout. I'm seeing a lot more 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗪 in, my matches. Nate, who are you going to choose for your pound for pound?
Well, I also would like to say that I have used the 𝗪𝗲𝗍𝗪, and he is pretty fun and a very good card. I'm going to go for a very much more budget option, though. A brand new hero shapeshifter released this past weekend. He is an American. He's a left wing. Premier League this time, though. Dempsey. And I've been using him in the ShapeShifters Cup mode, just kind of for fun. I have his loan card. And he's kind of surprised me because the other Dempsey cards that I used the 85 a decent amount in some of like the objective games earlier this year. The 91, I use it a couple times. But this Dempsey actually feels like he kind of fits in with where the power curve is right now. He feels like his pace. I think he had a decent dribbling boost too. Yeah, +4 dribbling. So I know he's a left wing. I definitely don't play him there. Play him either as like a left mid or a box to box. and he just feels like, I don't know, his other cards for me felt kind of behind the curve when they were out, and this one feels like it's right in line and very suitable for where cards are at right now in the game. 80K Premier League links. I mean, that's pretty cheap and nice card, I think.
Yeah, that's a spicy pick. I'm assuming box to box chem style Powerhouse engine. Where are you going with?
I think I have an engine on mine. Yes.
Spicy. I mean, I know you can get him to a 97 rated striker, center forward, attacking mid. I think with the Powerhouse, he goes to a 97 CM as well. It's a great shot. I can't say I've actually come up against him yet, even playing in NA, which feels maybe a little bizarre, because 𝘬𝘀 is a bit of a legend around these parts. Have you had the chance to play with him, play against him?
I haven't yet, I don't think, actually. It's an interesting one considering, the nationality and playing in America. You'd think he'd be more popular. On a similar note, I'm kind of disappointed that ShapeShifters Team 𝘃𝗲𝗃 maybe didn't get another league on it as well. Since it seems like a lot of these other shapeshifters got different leagues added to them.
Yeah, I keep looking at that Timmy Cahill card thinking that would be a spicy box to box. Maybe you got to go with the Cahill Dempsey link and give that a shot. There's actually a lot of really cheap Premier League shapeshifters now. Well, quote unquote cheap. But I think the cheap shapeshifter is the exact direction that I'm going to follow as well. My pick going to be the right back 𝘵𝘃𝗀𝗏 card. That, for those of you guys that don't know, 𝗏𝗀𝗏 is Colombian slang for better than cuadrado.
That's pretty good.
Thank you for that, Nate. But he's really amazing, like super, super tenacious defender. It's something that I know Ben and I usually talk about on the podcast, but he has default or base 99 balance, 99 reactions, which makes him so aggressive. Depending on how you want to use him, you can use a variety of different chemistry styles. You can play him as a CDM. You can play him out wide. You can shift him into the middle for 230K, 250K, somewhere in that range. You get a endgame right back or right-sided player, and he's like a legend. And his height doesn't hurt him when he's playing, in the middle or a little bit out wide, and the base stats you get just phenomenal.
I was going to comment on his price because I thought that he got so cheap a lot faster than I thought he would. I mean, Di Natale is still 2 mil plus, 𝗵𝘃𝗃𝗍 is 1.4, and Cordoba's center back FUT Captain's hero card was over 1 million coins for a pretty long time. And this card automatically comes out. I know its position changed to right back, so that maybe hurts the value a tiny bit, but 230K for that card is, I think it's incredible value.
Obviously, you do have Cuadrado there. You also have, oh goodness, what is the right back's name that they did? Martinez Quarta from Fiorentina, who was very cheap. And if people did him, they're probably looking at that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 card like, do I really need a 4-star with not the same stats, but kind of ish the same stats? Probably not. I'm hoping that he'll continue dropping down, but I'm also kind of terrified to start coming up against him over and over and over again because he is very, very good. All right. The listener, pound for pound Powerhouse, this is a personal dig at me this week. I feel special because it was directed at me. I also am hurt by the direction that it's been taken. 𝗃𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗏 says your pound for pound Powerhouse is a French player. I hope Ben can, cue the somber music here as I have to read this out. French player from Paris Saint-Germain, from Ligue 1, Presnel Kimpembe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
He says, it doesn't matter which one. I just want to hear 𝗲𝗍𝑝s say it out loud.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we've had Kimpembe on recently. I'm sure he's gone out and done him. Have you guys, did you do this? Did you get this card? Did you go out and play with it? I haven't played against him. I haven't played with him. There's no chance he's ever going to make it into my squad. So I'm going to rely on you guys to tell me something I don't know.
I have not used him, and I have contemplated taking the CDM one, but I think I'm just going to have some fun and go with the 95 plus shapeshifter player pick and go with that just because why not? But it was a little tempting because I haven't used him very much all year. I didn't use him in the very beginning of the game when his gold was super popular, but also I don't know. I don't want to be labeled as a Kimpembe rat, So I'll side with you on this one.
𝘵𝘄𝘃𝗀𝗏, if you will. I mean, no shade there, but
yes, exactly.
yeah. Here's the real question. Would you pay close to 4 million coins for the shapeshifter N'Golo Kante just to not be a Kimpembe rat?
Since I love Conte's team of the year so much, I would. Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I mean, that makes me happy. Paying close to 4 million coins not to use Kimpembe. That is the real vibe of this podcast here. Who have you had a chance to play against?
Can't say I have. I was actually looking at maybe doing the cam version just because it's 10 tokens. It's interesting looking that 10 tokens for the cam, 27 tokens for the CDM. Granted, the DM looks outrageous, but I don't know. For 10 tokens, something a little fun and different. I feel like not many people are going to have the cam version. I feel like people will either be getting the CDM or just not getting him. So it could be something kind of fun. I did get Team of the Season �々untradeable in some sort of rewards the other day, maybe one of those SBCs. So I do, have the links for him. Could be something a little bit different, but yeah, I'm not sure yet. It's interesting to think how a 6'2" converted center back would be as a more attacking player. So I guess we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, I've been a fan of a lot of bigger strikers this year. There was a recommendation on the last pod to try out the shapeshifter Morientes, the cam version. And I gave him a shot, and he is awesome. Plays way, way above his stats. So for 80K, if you want to try, not a converted defender, but he's still 6'1", so he's about the same size profile, and he is just super, super dominant. We did have one more. I don't really want to spend too much time talking about Kimpembe, but we did have one more pound for pound suggestion, and that is from Joe DW. He says, "So my pound for pound this week is Reus. I'm sure Pereira will be a popular choice, being so cheap, but Reus was a perfect fit for me, and great links to the Guerrero SBC pick if you did him. A very nostalgic endgame right wing, and he says even with the abundance of them being released, feels excellent on the ball and has all the traits you could want and seems to keep hold of the ball under pressure. Very good card for 280K. I have had the displeasure of playing against Reus one time, and he scored a brace against me, which was not my favorite thing. I looked at his stats when he first came out, and I said, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this card. First time playing against him, especially if you want to use him out wide, I sort of found myself thinking, maybe if I switch to a Bundesliga team, he's going to be a must-do.
Yeah, I thought, too, that from when I saw him released, that he was probably going to, well, not probably, absolutely be the top right wing in the Bundesliga. And it took me back to using his FUT birthday card from FIFA 21 because I loved that card. So I might have to try to craft him this week if they drop some player picks or upgrade packs and give Reus a try.
Yeah, anything to add there? I know the 5-star skills, Marco Reus, always, a fun option.
Yeah, he certainly looks like a really fun card. And I think there's been a lot of great strong links for him released recently. If you look at that, ShapeShifters 𝗫𝗀𝗀𝘀, it's a great card, really, really good DM. And of course, that perfect link from the center back, Emre Can, if you're starting in the 3 at the back. So, definitely no shortage of links. There's the 𝗪𝘀𝗀𝗪 He's not too bad. I've actually been using him along with Can and Kohler recently. So a lot of great value in the Bundesliga right now. Also looking at that ShapeShifters hero, 𝗵𝗍𝗄. It's over 1 million coins, but there's not that many, top tier attackers in the Bundesliga. So, 5-star stats look really good. Could be a fun one. I feel like not many people ever used his original hero card because if they're going Liga on, they were more looking at that Ginola card. So that might be worth, making a little Bundesliga team. There's that objective for Iago as well that you could knock out with that too.
Yeah, so on a real note, that 𝗵𝗍𝗄𝗀 card is better than actual Pele. I believe. Like, that card is insane. His dribbling stats are ungodly. Like, let's just for a second take a pause here. Base dribbling stats: 99 agility, 98 balance, 99 reactions, 99 ball control, 99 dribbling, Sure, you can give him a knock for 93 composure if you want, but pairing those dribbling stats with Bae's 99 acceleration and 98 sprint speed is a joke. Slap a dead eye on him, and he is a 99 rated center forward.
Wow.
As well as left wing, right wing. I mean, this card makes me want to use the Bundesliga.
I would say that EA has been pretty friendly recently with some Bundesliga special cards, with the 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘐, with the Emre Can, that 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦 kind of noted as well. I mean, there's been some decent Bundesliga cards recently. I'm a fan. I'm with it. So
And they're really cheap.
put him, Reus. Yeah, they are pretty cheap too. I mean, 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘐, like you mentioned, the stats that he has, he could be double the price if you had different links, I think. So like if he was a Premier League card with those stats,
Easily.
5.5, he would be way more expensive.
Yeah, I think, which leads me to my first detour that I want to take here. We do a lot of talk about pound for pound. I want to go on the reverse pound for pound train, which, and this is, I'm throwing this on you guys, a little bit of a surprise here, but which card, foot item, is way, way, way too overpriced that you would just never, ever consider adding to your squad, because it is like you're just way overpaying for what you get. Nate, let's start with you.
I think I might have to go back to Shapeshifters, an earlier team of Shapeshifters, to get this question answered. I mean, Shapeshifters Team 4, I don't feel like anything is grossly overpriced, like too bad. Conte at 4 million, it does seem a little bit steep, but it's a 5-star skills Conte, so he's going to be expensive. And considering 𝘵𝘶𝗰𝗋𝘀𝘁 is 6 mil, that kind of makes sense. But I still think that my most overpriced card, a reverse pound for pound, would be Cristiano Ronaldo, left wing. I think 11 million for that card, especially at this time, I'm surprised that he's held up that price for so long. If he had the 5-star weak foot, I think that maybe you could make a half argument for it, but 11 million coins at this time of the year, you could buy like 11 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘗𝘬s Pelés and put him in your team. Like, that's the kind of value you can get with that coin balance. So that's why I think he's a little bit grossly overpriced. Not a little bit, grossly overpriced.
I feel like Ronaldo is such a luxury item. Like the people that are spending that amount of coins on him are doing so because they have such an obscene coin total, not because his stats are, I mean, are they an improvement over like his team this season? Sure.
Yeah.
But you're like 98% of the way there with some of his other options for 8 million coins less. Like this is a luxury good. Absolutely. Who reverse pound for pound in your book?
I might go with that FUT Fantasy Alan St. Maximin, just because he's still over 2 million coins on Xbox, which he's like 100K less than Team of the Season 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘗. And I know which one I would most dread facing, and it's not St. Maximin. I haven't used either of those players, but if we're looking at the closest two players in price with similar links, you have the French links from Team of the Season 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘗 or the Prem links from Shapeshifters Son. And they're both like 100K more. If you go 200K more, you're getting into Moments Cruyff. You could go like 100K less and get Team of the Season Cristiano, 100K less Team of the Year Kylian Mbappe. Like there's just so many comparable or probably better options for like even less coins that I'm not sure, who is paying this much, because I don't even really see him that often. I'm not really sure why he's that expensive.
Yeah, I think the other shout in the direction I was going to go, same FUT Fantasy direction, that Ousmane Dembele card. Not only do I like, he's like pretty rare and I don't see him, but he feels like such a commodity at this point. There's a lot of 5-star cards that are less than that still have really, really strong links. And I think he's lacking at this point in stats in some areas. And so, not a card that I've seen much of anymore. I think the other shout for a card that's been released recently, I cannot believe that Ginola card is still close to 7 million coins. I understand he's got 5-star, and he's, was amazing earlier on, and, he's got good stats. But when I look at cards, the reactions, the balance, he's no 𝗵𝘃𝗍𝘗𝘬.
True.
When you look across the board and you're paying so much more for him to be, I guess you're paying the a Premier League tax at this point, right?
hmm
But I think he is insanely overpriced.
I agree with that one. I feel like he could be more so like 5 million coins, even with the French links and the Premier League tax. You could call it 5 million coins or something like that would be more correct, even though it would still be expensive.
Yeah, I think if you're looking, we'll use Cristiano Ronaldo as like a benchmark. Cristiano Ronaldo's team of the season card is 2 million, right?
Mhm.
Team of the year card, 1.5. And it's like, is Ginola going to be, 5-star, 5-star? Both have some like potential stat weaknesses, but is Ginola going to be that much better
Right.
than that card? Like, for me, the answer is like an easy no there. So that said, still a fun card. The other question that I want to pose to you guys here, it's getting, Nate, we talked about it, getting to that point of the cycle
Mhm.
where you are starting to have a coin total. There's lots of different cards that have been released. And because of that, there's a major drop in price, perhaps, of some cards that were released a while back. Maybe people have forgotten about
Mhm.
that at the time you said, I'm not going to try this card out, too expensive. Maybe creeping down now to a price where you're thinking, you know what, I forgot about that card. He looked really fun at the time. Maybe didn't use him. Nate, I know you've got a stacked coin total, so maybe that's not the fair one. But any cards that you might tell the listeners, hey, this guy was once expensive. He's not so much anymore. Coming down in price, give him a shot. He's a ton of fun.
I actually do have a card that I just looked back on League One Team of the Season, and I saw this guy's price, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty big drop off, all things considered. And it is Team of the Season 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝗏, 5-star, 4-star, and a card that once went just a mere month ago for 1.2, 1.3 million coins. I mean, Ultimate Tots did a number to his price as well, but he is now under 300K. And that card is very, very fun. I know we have the likes of Marcelo now and some other really expensive midfielders that you could use instead of him. But I think his card is absolutely still in the mix of the power curve. And I mean, he's 300K, so it's a big bargain from what it was just a month ago.
I love it. Who? Do you have any recommendations here?
Yeah, there's kind of a lot, and kind of going off the Bundesliga theme that I was going with, I think you'd be surprised that some of these top tier cards, like that Nkunku team of the season, he's great as like a center mid, attacker, wide mid, and he's only 300K now. And
Wow.
I think for a while he was million, 2 million, something like that. So, it's definitely someone that I think I've used, this week, and he's still great. I use him as one of the DMs in the 3-5-2 and allow him to get forward, but he's still competent as a defender, especially with like a Hawk I think I was using that, he has really solid physical, and he gets all these strong links to like that 𝘭𝘪𝘬𝘦. That ShapeShifters Davies is only 300K, which seems crazy. He's 90 plus in every stat, and he has a 5-star weak foot. So it seems crazy to me that some of these players are so cheap. I guess that they don't necessarily link to the ultra mega top tier, your Ginola or ShapeShifters 𝗵𝐸 or Ronaldo or anything like that. But I still think that you could build like an insane Bundesliga team for maybe like 2 million coins at this point.
Yeah, I love it. The route that I was going to say is on the Bundesliga train again. That team of the season, Jude Bellingham, who
Oh, yeah.
pro players have raved about when he was first released in, early May? For at least the first, he stayed over 2 million coins probably, or close to it for like almost the entire month of May, I think. Maybe dipped under that. And now you can have him for a measly 861,000 coins on Xbox. That is another card that, people have raved about, been a value pick in competitive play, and now is getting to that quote unquote like affordability price point. Toss him on there with 𝗵𝗽𝗆. You can have some English links in there, do a nice little hybrid squad. I think that's a really interesting option.
I agree. I think he was even a little bit cheaper before Reus came out, and I think that's caused his price to go up a little bit. There were some other people out there that are enjoying the Bundesliga hype at the moment, so even bar that slight rise, I think he's still an amazing card for that price too. I agree.
Yeah, he did drop down maybe a week ago pre-Reus to 750 on Xbox. It feels so cheap for what you get out of that card. Well, Nate, thank you guys for indulging my reverse pound for pound and then my we'll call it like a delayed pound for pound. A lot of pound for pound options here. Anybody else that you guys want to call out in the squad as being a card you're interested in trying, or you've come up against? Anything else of note?
I think for me, one that provides some very intriguing links after he got a link change, I guess you call it for a Heroes, like a club league change or whatever. Joe Cole going from Premier League to League One, but still, of course, being English, having 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot, and the nice upgrade that he got over his right wing captain's hero card. So this one's now a center attacking mid and central. I just think that card provides some really intriguing links because he'll green link to any League One player, of course, but also have some English links in there too, which could create some very interesting hybrids. And I think his dribbling stats look really good. Again, he does have 93 composure, but I mean, if that's too low, just, slap a chem style on it. Short and lean body type. I think he's going to feel very quick in game. The only stat that I'm a little unsure about on him is the 88 positioning. I was kind of surprised when I saw that. That seems a little bit low for July, but I still think that he'd be a pretty fun card to use, and he's not that expensive, 290K. So
yeah, like you said, slap a chem style on him. You can give him a dead eye, get that positioning up to 98, and perhaps that's enough for him. But yeah, I think that English League card can provide a variety of different hybrid options. Have you played against?
I actually neither. I've just been watching the card and thinking, I think I would like to try him.
When am I gonna grab him?
Exactly, yeah.
Any interesting cards here for you?
Yeah, I'm interested by that Kyle Walker center back. I know he is pretty expensive, close to 1 million coins, but I think especially for someone that plays a 3 at the back system, he has the high work rates and he's 6 feet tall with really good jumping and physicals. So not really any worries there, but interesting with the unique body type and someone, the way I use my 3 at the back is I really enjoy having outside backs who are good dribbling on the ball as well as passing. So someone who you could pass it to them, and if the opponent is dropping off deep or maybe they don't have wingers, like they're playing narrow, then I can just run with the ball with those outside center backs and draw other defenders away from sitting deep, and then kind of create space using that. And I think it's a real advantage to be able to do that versus maybe like a Van Dijk or someone who's a little more clunky on the ball, at least with his lack of pace. Someone that, if you started dribbling with him, he might get tackled and now you're exposed. So someone I'm interested in looking into, although might wait a little bit for that price tag to come down.
Yeah, I think he is the spicy Kyle Walker, foot item card that Gareth Southgate has dreamed of, and that 5 at the back that he likes playing. I am surprised. I feel like I haven't played against him that much. Maybe his price keeping him out, but really, really interesting option. The other card I'll throw in there, as long as we're talking about center backs, not so much. Matthijs de Ligt, future signing for Bayern Munich, it looks like, in real life, but still with the classic Piemonte Calcio with Juventus in Serie A. He is 125, 150K at the moment, set as a CM. But if you are someone that likes to change positions in game and you want to drop him back to center back, he is a 99 rated center back with a shadow. Truly a monster feeling card. For how cheap he is, I feel like there's no harm in picking him up, trying him out. He has that unique body type, so I am maybe surprised that I haven't seen much of him yet. I know there are a lot of people that have been, pretty high on him so far. You guys had a chance to use him?
I have not, but he kind of with Cordoba, he'd be very interesting and pretty easy to link into a Serie A team if you can get a player on the right side and you do right back Cordoba, center mid de Ligt, or you create some sort of triangle with like Chiellini, de Ligt, and Cordoba, and then you're set. So
the one thing that I was debating on whether or not I really wanted to mention was, importantly, he links to Vlahovic, the one of, if not the greatest strikers to hit FIFA Ultimate Team in years. Vlahovic is still an amazing deal and has gone down even more in price. If you haven't used him yet, go out and do so. This is my weekly Vlahovic plug.
I was going to ask you, when you mentioned Morientes, how does Morientes stack up to Vlahovic?
Very similar.
Very similar? Okay.
Really, really similar. I've been using Vlahovic as my left striker, Morientes is my right striker, and they allow me to do a lot of the same things now on both sides. For a while, I was using Lautaro Martinez as my right striker. Morientes is a bigger player who has maybe slightly better positioning. Has that 5-star weak foot as well, so people are a little bit iffier defending. He's got great base passing stats because they made his card base level and attacking mid, and having the two of them is a really, we call it like a powerful strike force where they are, unless somebody's using really big center backs, and people still like, I'm one of them, like using cards like Koundé, tend to just elevate over cards like that when you get a little cross in here or there. So, another Morientes plug for me on that one. The question I'll ask you guys here, because I can derail this podcast any way that I want to, is if you were designing a promo at this stage of the game, which items are you picking? How are you thematically going about trying to build a promo here? Because I think it's really easy for us to sit here and critique choices, critique promo cards. I think it's maybe a much better exercise in some ways to say, if I'm building a promo from the bottom up, this is going to be the theme of the promo. I'm going to choose these cards because why? To give you guys a little taste of what I'm thinking, what I would like to see, in much the same way that they've done with some of these heroes, as I would like them at this stage of the game to make icons actually the best players in the cycle maybe again. And you could take 3 weeks and you could do I don't want to call it like a shapeshifter version of icons. We already have moments, but maybe like an icon moments 2. That's a surprise out of nowhere. Increase the pack weight of them and get, some of these icon cards that were truly, truly iconic players back, I'll call it back where they need to be, or where they could be in the food change. Give me a Gattuso card that's a 5-star, weak foot. You can keep him with his 2-star skills, but like 95 rated DM with some really spicy stats that feels usable at this point. I think we're getting to the stage where the Iago objective card, it's like, yeah, it's cool, but like how many people are going out of their way to complete that card if you're not planning on using him just for fodder? So I think icons, a bit of a refresh at this point might be really, really spicy, but giving them, proper power curve upgrades. That would be a type of promo that I would love to see at some point this summer.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think a great opportunity too for EA to bring icons back into the meta, if you will, or bring them back to hype, because I even think for most of the better part of half of this year's game, icons have felt a little behind, even as we've progressed through the different, base, mid, prime, and then prime icon moments. It's just, since we've been, especially in the second half of this year, it feels like icons have just been overrun by promo cards week in and week out, because we've been getting so many more promos than ever before. And yes, icons still have some value with their links, but you feel like you're sacrificing the performance of the card for the links that you need in your squad when you're using an icon most times. So I think that'd be a fantastic idea. But for me, like in the summer too, it comes down to the SBCs and like the packs that they put out that keep people engaged with dropping in at 6 p.m. every day and looking at the content. And they've been doing a decent job of that. Like, we've had some cool player picks and upgrade packs and stuff like that. And I know that EA wants to keep a balance and not just drop the best 85 times 10 right now, because they still want to, we have a month and a half, 2 months left before the new game is really like on the doorstep. So they want to try to spread that out and keep some hype for later on this summer. But I think we also are at the end of the game, so people have the highest expectations ever of getting really good SBC content. So I think if EA keeps that going and continues to improve that, that'll just be something that hopefully from footies too will keep the summer kind of vibes going and keep people interested with the content on the game.
Fair enough, and well said. Any, call it like promos, content that you might like to see switched up, changed for call it the next month or so?
Yeah, I certainly agree with what you're saying regarding icons. It feels like to a point that, they're almost less interesting now than heroes because we've seen how heroes can be worked into other promos and it makes them much more exciting, even ones that for most of the cycle, like a Kohler or something that no one really cared about. And now he's one of the better players in his position. So I think that, if they could work icons into promos or just boost them more or, whatever they could do to make those more interesting would be great. I think also if they maybe did another promo that focused on like much more obscure players. So like take the bigger clubs from much more off leagues. I'm not talking like 𝘬𝘃𝗲𝗍𝘬. I'm talking like the Norwegian league, the Australian league, things like that, where, these players are basically never getting promo items. But say you gave us like a 5/5 really high stat card from the Australian league, that was maybe stats almost similar to like a Ginola, but obviously he's much harder to link. So now icons have more value because you can work those players in using icons. Or if, looking at some of those types of players, there's one of the few golds from that league is a Mexican player named Ulises Davila. And, he's probably really valuable to his team because he's one of the only gold players in that league. So, for those fans or fans of that league, if we had a really highly boosted version of that player, if you have the links, he's great to have, but he's not going to ruin the game because not everyone's going to have the links for that player. So you're not making, 6 million coin cards. He might be 500K or even less because he's harder to link, but it's a really sick card for those leagues. So, we've seen some of those with like some of the MLS team this season or heroes, but for some of these leagues that basically never ever get promo cards at this stage of the game, I think it'd be really nice for those fans to, get something to use at least for a few months.
Yeah, I think they've done a little bit of that with Team of the Season. And, I think about those like Belgian Pro League cards.
Mhm.
I know people were like, this is cool. And they, start at like 300 coins and it's like fun for a week or so. And then they just totally drop in value when something new comes out because the type of FUT player that wants to use those is like, all right, cool. And that was fun. And I'm out. I think they're trying to keep people engaged. And I think there's going to have to be a level of big name, little name combo, a little bit of give and take, if you will, to be able to do that. As we get close to wrapping up here, guys, I'm going to have a few listener questions for you here. First one from, it's either Make Ballot or Make Ballet. We're going to say ballet because that's how I want to do it. Do you typically, A, mostly build a squad of untradables and augment with one or two key position tradables, or B, build around one key untradable card that is either super effective or fun to use, and go into the market and buy, say, 3 to 6 cards to make the chemistry work? Also, do you play people off chem? And if so, what chemistry threshold? Thanks. Who? We'll start with you.
Yeah, I'd say I definitely go more with the first option where I'm working in a lot of my untradables just because it feels like, if you pack them, if you have good pack luck, you might as well make the most of it. I also feel like if you're mostly a tradable team, unless you're really good at making coins, like someone like Nate, that you probably aren't going to have that great of a team because you don't have the budget to buy great players in every position. So wherever you can work in those untradables, I think it's probably more cost effective. I also don't think that a lot of times paying the premium for the best players is really worth it. I know we were talking earlier about the, pound for pound, not powerhouses, if you will, where, cards that, when you look at their alternatives that are maybe slightly worse, but a quarter of a price, third of a price, it just seems like you can get a lot more out of just buying the right players to fill in the gaps. And I also think it's just a little more fun, kind of have that loyalty with those players rather than just buying someone on and then worrying about, is their value going down? Do I need to sell them now? The tax loss, things like that. It's just a little more stress-free.
I was going to say, I agree with that too. That first option of mostly having a squad of untradables, and then let's say you pack somebody pretty dope from an upgrade pack or from, a swaps pack or something, and you have to find a way to put them in your team. You have to buy 1 or 2 cards. Like, I think that way there's so much less risk, like 𝗍𝘗𝘁 mentioned, with market volatility this year and promos coming every single week with new cards, that if you do something like that, you're probably going to lose less coins and probably have more fun too, because like 𝗍𝘗𝘁 said, when you pack a card and it's yours, first owner and tradable, it just, it kind of feels different, and you want to use that card because you feel like you own it and you had the opportunity to pack that card. So yeah, I think that's probably the way that I go. It is the way that I go, and I think it's the most efficient way for the way this game is run. But also, like, shoot, if you want to go buy a whole team of players to try them out, like, do it. Like, both are very feasible, and whatever's going to make you have the most fun and enjoy the players that you're playing with in game, that's definitely the route to go. But the first one of those might be a little more cost effective and coin friendly for the game.
Yeah, I've found at this point I have like 8 untradeable cards maybe that I like. My back line maybe and midfielder or 2 sort of just like sit in the squad and are untradeable, and like I don't really care about switching out the back line. I like them, they work, they do the job. But the point you make at the end, whatever makes you have fun playing the game at this point in time, you should do that. Just do that. Because it is a game and it is meant to be fun. So if we leave you with any advice at the end of the main feed here, it is going to be to have fun and play the game. Want to quickly give a shout out to all of the listeners for tuning in this week. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. Also want to thank our 2 wonderful special guests for our NA takeover. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, on in the Discord, 𝗵𝗽𝗁𝗍𝗫. Happy to chat FIFA, happy to chat real life football, anything like that. Even during this kind of silly season, still lots of discussions going on, so it's a lot of fun.
Wonderful. And Nate, thank you for joining us as well. How can people find you and check out your content?
Well, if you're still interested in playing FIFA in July and August and whenever you may be listening to this, or if you're trying to get ready for FIFA 23, we're going to be doing all those sorts of things on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/𝗏𝗏𝐻𝑒𝑓𝑡Accountant. Everywhere else is the same, the FUT Accountant. So if you're on a social media platform, hopefully I'm there too. So just search me up and you'll probably find me. But I'm excited for, even though it's July, I mean, we're getting some pretty crazy cards. You mentioned footies. If footies comes out soon, I think that'll just bring another kind of renewed wave of hype after having the same promo for 4 weeks long. Something new and fresh would be very appreciated.
Yeah, ready for new and fresh. I think it is that time of the year. Thank you both again for joining us. Thank you to the listeners for listening. My name is, of course, 𝗵𝗽𝗀𝗃, and I will catch you all next time.